Welcome to the Safe Par Golf Podcast, where two average golfers talk about golf and things. I'm your host, Derek.
Dominic.
Today's episode, we reunite with the Pinehurst 6. We are currently on episode 28, a.k.a. the Joe Mixon episode.
Just for you guys.
Had to give that out to Greg. We have all sorts of good stuff to cover. The WM Phoenix Open, Super Bowl 56, the Saudi League, the Super League rumors, the Genesis Invitational picks, and of course, the Pinehurst 6 trip and what's in store for the upcoming year. Boys, thanks for having us or joining us, I should say. We got Greg, Brandon, and Matt. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for having us.
It's going to be an absolute mess with people talking over each other, so I'm excited.
Yeah, no, it's going to be good. No worries there. Let's jump right into it. You want to talk the WM Phoenix Open? Did you guys have any chance to watch that?
Yeah, it was great. The 2 hole-in-ones were awesome. Just beer cans getting pelted at everybody. That I thought it was hilarious. What was it? Harry Higgs going
yeah.
for the boys.
Did you see Paige Spiranax?
Who's she?
Yeah.
Oh, I know who she is. Her little tweet about it. She's like, "Oh, I can't believe he would sexualize himself for that. I would never." And I was like,
he seems like a fun guy to hang out with. If you guys gonna add another guy to the Pinehurst 6, he's got to be included.
Other than us, yeah.
Yeah.
It's really anybody from Barstool would be super fun.
That's true.
Right. Anyone that's been on their podcast or anything like that. Yeah. They get some good guys on there.
Oh, for sure. I actually wanted to touch base on that because there was a article that was posted earlier today. And now that there was apparently a golfer that was had mentioned to the PGA Tour about how they were concerned about an injury. Did you read on that? On the 16th hole? So now apparently the PGA Tour is considering putting up nets on the 16th hole.
You can't do that.
Right?
I feel like it takes half the fun out of it.
This was based off of an article on the Morning Read Golf at a Glance. I'm not sure. It was one of the top articles that popped up because I kind of wanted to just see what a lot of people thought about it. I think 90% of golf fans thought it was an absolute awesome. It was just madness, something you've never really seen before. So I don't know if you guys had any buddies out there that were a part of that.
That's one of those things that makes that tournament unique on the tour, right? Because that's one of those holes where, I saw this meme where it's I feel bad for the guy who has to hold the quiet sign on that hole. It's that's one of those unique moments in golf where, you take that away, it kind of ruins the tournament for everybody. Not saying that it has to be a party 24/7, but yeah, I mean, you make that hole in one, you should celebrate. And the fact that there were 2 and they celebrated, hell yeah.
Yeah. What do you guys thoughts
the
on
golfers
that?
Feel great, right?
Well, I think that course is one of those bucket list things. You just need to go to it once. I don't know if I'd want to go to it every year, but I think going to that tournament one time, I think would be awesome.
Yeah, I agree. I mentioned before, I played that course and you would never even know 16 unless without the stands there.
Right.
What it looks like. I mean, it's an awesome course, but I definitely think it's a bucket list thing. I mean, they show up at 4 a.m. and just rush right to 16.
Yeah, seriously.
I kind of wonder, when Tiger had his hole-in-one there, and obviously we wouldn't have as much footage, now with social media and everything, we're able to see from different angles what the actual damage was, how long it took to clear off the green in that area. But I wonder if you were to compare, what was it, 96?
I think 97, I believe.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
Now, if the same level of mess was made back then, or if it's gotten much more rowdy to the point where they're is it getting out of hand?
1997.
I think Tiger even mentioned after that, he said that he felt bad for the group behind him because he felt like they had a soggy lie on the tee box and the beer being tossed. So it was still a little rowdy even back then. But obviously they've got the grandstands around the green now instead of just a crowd. So it kind of makes it easier for everyone to chuck beers onto the green afterwards. But I don't know. If you ever wake up and think your job is obsolete, just remember there's a guy holding the quiet sign on 16 at the league.
I feel like if they're gonna switch, they should do what like the NHL does. You know, if they get a hat trick, fans throw their hats on the ice
or something.
Well, they donate them.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, they donate them. Or there's some, it might be like the Bruins where if they get a hat trick, they'll throw like stuffed animals on, and then they'll donate all those like a children's hospital. So instead of beer, maybe they could throw hats or something, and they could donate those to like youth programs or
that's a good idea.
Something like that.
I will say that after like he hit that hole in one, I swear like everyone made a birdie putt though. Like I said, it slowed the greens down. It's like there was an advantage for some of those the golfers afterwards. But did you guys anticipate? Do you guys think that Scotty Scheffler was going to win that tournament? I honestly, he's a solid golfer, but I really didn't see it. I was pulling for Scythe. I think
yes, that's who I was pulling for too. I really wanted to see him pull that out. Just being he was just kind of let into the tournament, and just with all the big names in the tournament, seeing him pull that out would be awesome.
Yeah, he played outstanding. What was your take on that, Greg?
Oh, I didn't even know that Scheffler was in the mix. I was kind of I was in my own little world on Sunday. I was trying to do anything I could to keep my mind off the Super Bowl, and for some reason that included forgetting the golf was even on TV. So I was just, kind of, I was trying to not hyperventilate, and didn't even hear who won the tournament until Monday. And I was like, Scotty Scheffler, like I didn't even know he was in the mix. I mean, how many off the lead was he going into Sunday?
Yeah, it kept on like shifting. I mean, there was multiple players that were, I mean, it was Cantlay. Brooks obviously going into Sunday, but then he kind of fell off kind of early in Sunday. And then Schauffele, obviously Alexander, he's awesome. He's a stud, but they kind of both kind of fell off towards the end. But yeah, there was like a group of players that were all in the mix, but they weren't really getting a whole lot of footage up until that point, at least from what I would seen. But Scotty's good. He's a stud though. He's got a bright future ahead of him too. Again, I was hoping for Scythe, and then I don't know what the Brooks thing. It looked like he was short on pretty much every wedge or iron shot going into the green because
it's the hair. It's
the hair, the slim
shady.
It's bad. Yeah.
Well, Scheffler's
the blonde hair subtracts 10 yards.
How many top 10s has that guy had?
Scotty?
He's always in the mix.
Yeah, he's always in the mix, and to see guys like that break through, I'm sure is a weight lifted off their shoulders.
100%.
It's super cool because I feel like this year every winner, I get that hasn't been a major yet, but I feel like all these tournaments have been somebody new or somebody came from behind or wasn't totally like predicted. So I feel like that's been super cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't even know how old he is, but yeah, I feel like he's always in the mix. He's always top 10 at least. I mean, he's a good player, good little sneaky pick for most things.
That's kind of how I feel like Patrick Cantlay. Guys, honestly, since this win, the guy is like in contention every tournament, and he's been
top 10 every tournament this year so far.
Yeah, sneaky. I mean, I don't want to say sneaky good because he's not really, but he's so consistent, which is hard because there's so many big names out there that could win at any.
He's got such a vanilla swing, right? Like you look at a lot of the guys that are in contention week in, week out, and they have some sort of signature move, whether it's like a bowed wrist or like Scheffler's right foot kind of slides back, little signature moves like that. But Cantlay's very textbook, like just kind of vanilla swing. And I mean, like you said, consistency, I guess there's something to be said there.
Right. Which is like what every golfer wants, right?
Oh yeah.
Regardless if you're a 20 handicap or not, that's what we're looking for, consistency. So have you guys ever been to that? Have you ever been to that tournament before?
No, it's a bucket list item for sure.
Yeah,
definitely.
We've talked about getting the group together to go. That'd be a lot of fun.
That'd be fun. You'd have to have a couple of them be like the parents, so then the other ones could like spread out and just get hammered.
You have to like take an extra week off of work for when you get back just to recover.
Right. Yeah.
Golf trips that felt like the waste management
Yeah.
Oh, for
You
sure.
had your own waste management open.
Right.
Tried to get away from that a little bit.
We're getting older, man. Those hangovers are a little worse now.
It doesn't work.
And now we've got the trophy to fight for too, so it kind of makes it a little bit more serious. So we take it a little easier, but
I wouldn't.
The Pedialyte's out.
So
if you want
our
something,
preparation has just gotten better.
if you want something other than Pedialyte, Noon is super nice. It's got electrolytes and stuff, and just little tablets. You just put them in water. It's actually what I've been drinking. I'm not hungover. I don't get hungover.
He's nursing it after every beer.
No,
He's just making sure.
I don't get hungover.
No, I'm just kidding.
Part of that is my age.
Yeah, no, I don't see, and I don't really try to get hungover. I don't want to get hungover. Not my thing. When I was 22, I'm getting old, so you feel it for 3 days.
Yeah, I was about to say it's multiple.
It's not a good thing.
I just take a nap and I'm good.
Wow.
I wish. No, it's not. It's
right.
Just wait till you get older.
Perks of being young.
I mean, I take a nap too, but my nap is from like 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. and then I'm good. So
I had
a whole day of sleep. Yeah.
I had a bachelor's party and we drank before Topgolf. We drank at Topgolf. We drank after Topgolf. And I went to work at like 9 a.m. the next morning.
Oh, impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
noon. I'm telling you.
That's where it's
noon. I went to bed at like 3. It was wild.
You just pulled all nighter.
I did. 3's in the morning.
Do you guys pull any all nighters at the Pinehurst 6 tournament or I'm sorry, I don't mean to say it's tournament. The trip. Do you guys pulling all nighters or do you guys is it strategic? Like if you're in teams, do you guys try to prank one another just to so you guys now that you have this trophy?
That'd be good.
Maybe mess with the other team a little bit.
Oh man, I don't know. We don't have teams per se.
No,
maybe we could try individual. To it's all individual. Maybe we could try to do some lighthearted hazing for the new people on the trip. Just wake them up at 3 a.m., but that would require us to all be awake at 3 a.m. as well. So I don't know how beneficial that would be. It'd probably end up screwing us over just as much as the new guys.
Sure.
But we could try to do some pranks, but not typically.
No.
Some guys stay out later than others, but usually we're all together for the most part.
There was an NFL player and they're talking about what they would do for not spring training. I got baseball in my brain. Training camp for the rookies, and they would prank them and everything. I guess one year they pulled the fire alarm and then put big buckets of water outside the door so they trip and fall in the water. I think it was one of the Colts players. It might have been Manning. I don't know. But that'd be kind of fun. You guys could flood each other's rooms.
Yeah. Do you guys have the hotel that you guys are staying at by any chance?
We're looking to get a house this year. We've kind of upgraded every year. So we started in a hotel and then we went to a condo. And now last year we had 8 people. So we had 2 separate condos. And we're looking to get a house so that we can all be in the same house together, and it'd be really cool.
Just like an Airbnb.
Yeah, just Airbnb.
Yeah, that's
probably the way to go. So yeah, let's talk about the Pinehurst 6. What's kind of the new up and coming golf course that you guys are playing, or there's a trophy you guys are playing for now, right?
Yeah.
Yep, we're playing for the Mink Powell Memorial Trophy. Sorry to cut you off there, Brandon.
Oh no.
We also have the Larry Powell jacket. So we got a green jacket and a trophy now. Mink was the original person that planned our trips for us. Basically, we'd all get together and compile an email to Mink, and we had never met her, but she was just like this legendary person to us because she got our golf trip planned. And then she passed away from cancer, and we were like, we got to remember her somehow. So we came up with the Mink Powell Memorial Trophy. And also we just wanted to figure out who was playing the best over the course of the trip. So we came up with a scoring system based on handicap and said, all right, we're going to, reward this trophy to the best player of the trip. And that's been 2 years now.
Yep.
the Larry came along last year. Unfortunately, Mink's husband Larry also passed away, so we wanted to remember him in some way as well. Now we got the Mink Powell Trophy, the Larry jacket, and hopefully we're good to go with memorial stuff for a while.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah.
So who currently has the jacket and the trophy?
Brad West. He was one of our new guys last year. Unfortunately, wasn't able to make it on tonight. Okay. But he actually hasn't flaunted it as much as we would like.
Yeah, I would have worn it everywhere. Anytime we get together, I'm wearing that thing if I win it. So
if you win it, do you get both the trophy and the jacket?
Yep, for the year.
It's for the whole year, okay. And then do you guys get like engraved and all that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. So it's a real deal.
Oh yeah,
that's awesome.
I would lose it 100%.
Yeah, what happens if someone loses it? This is a bad omen. That's just like bad. Like you're not invited to the trip.
Right.
Right. You better go to the thrift store and find something.
Get a fantasy football one.
Or just get like a belt, like a wrestling belt. There you go. Carry that around in a jacket.
Should have a loser's trophy of some sort.
You got to get a tattoo.
There you go. That's what
we got to do something for the loser for
like
sure.
Like a fantasy football type of deal. Yeah.
They have to like jump in the pond or something.
We thought about punishments, and someone had an awesome idea that had us all a little skittish. That I can't remember who came up with it, but if you were to lose, you have to go to a local comedy club and do a stand-up routine.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
And we all go and watch it.
I think that was 1.0 because he's real big in front of about talking in front of people. So I think he would love that. He would just eat that up if he ended up in last place. But none of us would enjoy that, I don't think.
I'm not doing it. I won't do it.
That was actually me. I came up with that idea.
Oh, it was you.
Yeah, it was me. And most people, it seemed like the first time I said it, everyone was like, "Oh, that'd be great. That'd be awesome." And then I put it in the chat, like, all right, so we're down for this. And everyone was like, hold on, we're serious about that? Yeah. And it ended up being like, so a couple of us would like, be like, oh no, like public speaking. And now I got to try to be funny. And not only are random strangers going to be there, but my friends are going to be there, probably recording and probably put it on Instagram. And
you could live stream it.
Right.
You should have support from your boys though. They cheer you on a little bit.
No, they wouldn't.
Well, maybe.
No, not at all.
Just dead silence, no matter how funny it was. So with that being said, do you guys like, is there like a president or anything like that? Or do you guys all like vote on everything? Like, how does that work as far as what you're deciding what you want to do?
The democracy.
It's a democracy.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think.
Yeah.
TK, I mean, 1.0 kind of does the, handles a lot of the execution of getting the proposal back for the courses and things like that. But other than that, I mean, we vote on, like, if we want to get hats or shirts or whatever with our logo on it, we all vote on that. We vote. We just did our course vote, which I know was one of your questions. We have a pretty nice lineup this year.
Yeah. So how many courses do you guys end up playing?
Was it 6?
We've got 6 this year.
Wow.
We tried to do 7 last year. One of them got rained out, and we kind of liked having that day where one of them got rained out, and we just kind of hung out at one of the clubhouses, and we played some games, and we had some drinks, and just had a good time relaxing together. So we went with 6 this year.
And then, so is it like a week, like a 3 or 4 day trip, or how long is the trip itself?
Yeah, so we'll drive down on a Tuesday. And end up just staying somewhere fairly close. The first round of the trip every year has been 7 Lakes, and that's kind of it's in the area, but it's actually pretty far away from where we stay and every other course we play. So we kind of stay somewhere around an hour out from 7 Lakes, and then we drive to 7 Lakes Wednesday morning. And start playing Wednesday morning, get 2 rounds in Wednesday, 1 round on Thursday, 2 rounds in Friday, last round Saturday morning and drive home. So it's a long week and a lot of golf.
Okay,
our hands are usually pretty raw by the end. But
it's like Andy from The Office. He's like, just like.
I have a couple blisters. Yeah.
Have you heard of that birdie tape?
The birdie wrap, yeah.
Yeah, they should sponsor
I got some of that for last year. I know, right? I bought some, put it on the Instagram, and I don't think they even liked the post. It's like,
really?
Okay, that's cool.
You gotta change that. What the heck?
I know. I
sponsor you.
I posted one, and then I boosted one of the posts from like a guest or something. And the one I reposted was from a guy, and he didn't even like it. But then like the boost, for some reason, went onto that post. So everybody but that one guy liked it. And I was like, that kind of hurts because he follows us. I'm not going to say who it is because I don't want to put him on blast. But I was like, dude, I repost. Yeah, they should definitely like sponsor you guys and put little logos.
Gotta get your logo on there. So do you guys?
That'd be sweet.
Do you guys do carts or do you guys walk?
Carts.
Oh,
carts for sure.
Okay. That's kind of what I figured, but I know like there's a lot of the followers on Safe Park Golf that like absolutely hate golf carts. They're all they walk, and it's like I like walking too, but I also would rather play a 2.5 or a 3 hour round of golf. And so I'd rather hop on a cart and just take off.
Yeah, I'd be down for the walking, but the challenge we run into, and you know, we make tweaks every year to try to fix little issues that we run into. A lot of it's logistics. So we end up with an 8 and 8:15 tee time, or 8:20, 8:30 or whatever. And so we're in carts, we play at a decent pace, and then we get done and we're like, okay, we need lunch, and our next tee time is in an hour at the next course. And so we're hustling, running to the next one.
Sure.
So if we were to walk, we'd probably end up with, trouble scheduling and getting tee times to line up.
It just makes more sense to take a cart.
Yeah. But the vibe walking is, I enjoy it.
Same.
it.
I like walking too.
Yeah, I agree. Out of all the courses you guys have played, what's the nicest course out there that you guys have actually played out on through the Pinehurst 6?
I think the nicest course that I've played has been Pine Needles. I mean, the U.S. Women's Open is there this year, so that kind of speaks for itself.
True.
We've played that past 2 years, or did we take a break?
We played it twice. I think there might have been a year in between, but we played it twice.
Right. I know. So Matt and 1.0 and Chris. Well, 1.0 is not a teacher anymore, but they all used to be teachers. Matt and Chris still are, and so they'd go down earlier than me and Brandon back at the beginning. And you guys played a few courses that we haven't played, right?
Yeah, one of the ones that we're adding this year, Mid Pines, which is affiliated with Pine Needles and Southern Pines. And it's fantastic. We're adding it this year, so some of the other guys will get to see it. It's amazing.
So when you guys like book your tee times, I'm assuming you guys obviously are like back to back to back to back. Is that kind of like a difficult trying to book all that, considering if you're playing 7 different golf courses, trying to figure that out? Like you said, like trying to like rush to one course to the other.
One with 12 guys.
Yeah, I was gonna say kind of so you're probably playing, that's 3 foursomes right there. So you got to kind of, is that a busy season right now for when you guys go? Is it pretty busy when you guys are playing there?
It's gotta suck to play behind you guys too, because I hate playing behind just like 2 people.
Damn, Pinehurst,
like
6,
12 of you guys. Oh man,
Greg, you got to make a reel on that one.
I'll start brainstorming.
Tom's putting you guys on blast, I guess.
This damn 12-some in front of us.
I know.
Yeah, it's calling the clubhouse. What's going on here?
I get a refund.
It's got a master's jacket in the back of the cart.
What's going on?
Oh man,
the trophy night.
Yeah.
We have one guy that when he gets frustrated, he will just smack the ball all over the place with absolutely no like there's no goal behind it. He's just he's basically checked out mentally.
Sure.
He played one hole with a driver the entire time. Like he hit a
really?
with a driver.
It's good content for you guys though.
That was years before the page. Yeah, unfortunately.
Okay. Oh,
but it was still hilarious.
So you guys
didn't matter as much.
What's that? Yeah.
And scores didn't matter as much. Yeah.
So
right.
You brought up a good point. How long has this been going on for?
So this is year 7, year 8.
Seven or 8 is what I was going to say.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this is year 8 because the U.S. Open at number 2 will be year 10, and that's 2024, right?
I believe you're right.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So this is year 8. Started with a game of Madden between 1.0 and Brandon. Brandon can probably tell that story a little better. But
Did you use the Vikings in Madden?
What's that?
Did you use the Vikings at least?
Oh, actually, you know what? We used to do a franchise together, and we would like switch off. So we'd pick a team that neither of us were really like that invested in. So and it was always a trash team, so it was probably like the Jets or something.
The Vikings.
Yeah.
What year was that?
Any year.
I'm trash.
It was like 2013, so they were
trash.
Yeah, they weren't necessarily very good. Yeah, they weren't very good at that.
Is that the Matt Castle year?
No, I think it's Christian. Did they be
Christian Ponder? I think
was Castle
was the job that year.
Yeah, it was
Castle 14 then.
Because 2013 was Josh Freeman for one game.
It was, yeah, I think it was.
Oh,
you're right.
That was the important game, wasn't it?
Josh Freeman, Ponder, yeah. But anyway, sorry, we got sidetracked. That's okay. We're invested in your story. Sorry, keep going.
Oh no, it's nothing big, but we were playing Madden. We were just kind of talking about 1.0 had just gotten into golf, and I was excited that years of we all have some friends like that they're like, I'm not really interested in golf and it's not for me, and then all of a sudden they start playing and they're just like they catch the bug, and it's like I kind of knew you would come along at some point, and that was kind of 1.0 situation. He started playing and that's all he would think about, like I gotta get better, and then he's like, we should like go on some sort of golf trip, like we should just go somewhere. Would you want to do that? And I've got the controller in my hand and I'm like, yeah. And he's like, I'll make some calls. And so he starts like looking up these sites, he finds the Sand Hills. I think it was like Sand Hills of
Golf Escapes of the Sand Hills, I believe is what it is.
Yeah. And, he makes a call, talks to him about how you schedule or put together the trip or their itinerary, deposits, things like that. And I think it was probably an hour or two and we were booked and ready to go. So the first year was just him and I, and, it was a great time, obviously a different vibe. It was a shorter trip. It was like 3 courses in 2 days, and then we just drove home. But it's kind of cool to have talked about it then and been like, why don't we invite some more people and see what happens. And then, now we've got this tight knit group that looks forward to this every year.
So what's the process of bringing in a new player on the Pinehurst 6? So because
you just really want to say tournament.
I know. I got my tournament on my mind about how like the reason why I keep thinking of it is because I'd like to do like we're doing our first annual Safe Park Golf tournament in June, but down the road we'd like to do like a tournament here in the summer and do like a tournament somewhere else in the colder months here, somewhere warm. So we can do it kind of like somewhere out of state. And so I'd like to try to get as many people involved. And so like it kind of was just engraved in my mind, but so I apologize. But like, is it something like kind of like the Big Ten? Like there's, for a while it was Big Ten, but there's more than 10 people. I mean, like what point is there like
that was the one part that I remember from the last episode.
Yeah, we mentioned on the last episode.
It was like, hey, if the Big Ten can have more than 10 people, we can have more than 6. And the more I think about it, you're kind of right, but you also doubled it. So I don't know anymore.
Like at what point are we going to name it Pinehurst like 16? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I think 12 might have to be the max. You start getting more than 12 and it's hard to align everybody's schedules and get up all the tee times. And
sure,
I think 12 is a good number.
Yeah.
And plus,
go ahead. Yeah.
Sorry. Plus, you guys mentioned the tee time situation. I think we've got Mink's daughter Kelly scheduling the trip for us now, and I'm pretty sure 3 tee times back to back to back is stress enough for her. We don't need to give her 4 or 5 tee times to find 5 days in a row for us. So
max it out at the 12. Like the older you get to, like, you just kind of like, people have kids, get married. I mean, everyone just has a different schedule, and maybe you get relocated for work and you just can't make. So it's like, I totally get that. It's like it's kind of that you got to find that perfect number where it kind of works for everyone. It's like, okay, I'm fully invested. Like, this is what I want. This is definitely booked every year. Like, this is something that we look forward to. And so is that kind of that round number, that 12 is kind of the number where you think that it will kind of stick?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, at least. I think that's what we're all kind of thinking. Yeah, like you said, it's hard to get people, more than that many people, to commit to something every year. It's going to be hard to get 12 to commit every year.
I don't think we even officially have 12 yet, do we?
No, I think we have 10 officially now. We're working on it. Yeah, we got
my math is not very good, but
we have that Minnesota math, but 10 plus 2 is 12.
Yeah, we got some invitations out there, and we'll see, man. But it should be a fun time.
We love what you're doing. Like I said, I know you kind of were doing Instagram Live last year, so you definitely got to do some cool stuff this year as well. And do you guys play? Is it like just straight up? Like, do you use your handicap and just play? Or do you guys do different games or anything like that, or different types of formats?
Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So for the tournament, it's handicap. And basically what we do is we add up everyone's course handicaps for all 6 courses, and you start that much under par. So our buddy Chris is the highest handicap of the group. So he starts out at like 160 under par or something, and everyone's chasing him. And we always joke around, Tuesday night, like, "Oh, you're sleeping on the lead. Like, how you feeling?" But yeah, but then there's Brandon, who's our 4 handicap, who's starting out at 24 under par, and he's got to look at. It looks like he's down 140 strokes the first night, and he's like,
just slowly but surely starts climbing.
Got to be dialed in. Yeah.
Right. So we might change the way that looks. Kind of, I don't know, just kind of put everyone's course handicap and say, hey, you shot this much over your course handicap, and kind of do it by that. Just so, I don't know, just so the people with lower handicaps don't have that mental hurdle of like, wow, I'm 100 strokes back on Thursday, but we'll see. We're brainstorming.
So Brandon, how many times have you won it in a row?
I won it the first year.
Won it the first year, okay.
And I think I was like 5 back last year. And
it's hard with a low handicap. I mean, you're a pretty good golfer, obviously, at a 4 handicap. So, but like you said, it's kind of your cards are stacked against you, so to speak, right off the bat.
Yeah, and I mean, it kind of depends on how you're trending too going into it. You, like anything else competitively, if you catch fire at the right time, you're in good shape. But if your handicap dips, and then you catch something weird in your swing and you're not feeling good before the trip, and then it's like, man, it feels really difficult now.
You don't boost up your handicap before the trip?
I say you don't have that one guy who purposely bombs it to 7 advantage.
Nothing yet.
Okay.
We haven't seen that yet.
Yet's the key word.
Brandon is, next time we talk to you guys, Brandon is a 14 handicap.
Right.
And he's won 2 years in a row.
22.
Yeah. No, I like that format though. That's actually pretty cool. So the winner gets trophy, belt, or jacket, and then do you guys do some big cash or anything like that, or is there a lot of trash talking, or what goes on?
All pride.
All pride. Okay. I'd imagine like a lot goes into it, booking the trip and everything, and the actual the rounds of golf and all that probably isn't a cheap trip, so to speak.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's not as bad as you would think. but it's definitely not a cheap trip. Something that we got to budget for every year. Sure. It's I don't know, around 1,000, which isn't that bad when you consider it, and that's travel and everything. So,
that's not too bad.
No.
Right.
One was like,
so I mean, we do throw some money in for skins and different side games, but I don't know. At a certain point, the skins and side games get a little confusing. 1.0 is usually our bookie for those. He keeps them all straight in his head and dishes out money at the end of the day, so the rest of us don't have to think about it. But yeah, really, we're just there for the mink. Brandon moved into bought a house while he had the mink, and kind of funny story with because we were all helping him move into the house, right? And so the moving truck gets there, and what's the only thing in his new house is the mink sitting on the handle. For us to all walk in and see that just sitting there. We're like, oh, you jerk.
Have you guys seen the league?
What's that?
Have you guys seen the league?
Oh yeah.
So it's just like the Shiva, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly. We
Just
don't have
like
a Sacco right now, but
not yet.
We kept right, not yet.
Well, so the goal with the format, the scoring, was to try to obviously make it to where it's close at the end, as many or as often as possible,
regardless of like which handicap. Like if you're up here or down here, kind of even it out, so to speak, for the most part, make it fair as possible.
Yeah, and so last year was really validation that like, okay, this really does work, the system we're using, because we had 3 people in the mix on the back 9 on Sunday, and I told the guys this. I was like, I haven't felt this since like the last actual tournament that I played. But like my hands were shaking. I felt nervous. Like each shot counted, and
that's awesome though. That's what it's all about, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. And we got done, and Brad West won, and he beat 1.0 by 1 shot.
Wow.
And 1.0 gets in the clubhouse, and he looks at me, and he's like, "I'm just glad you didn't win." So yeah, there's definitely like some poking each other, a little bit of trash talk here and there. So it's good.
So I like I was telling Greg, I have like a couple buddies, and I can't imagine like going on a trip with them is fine, but I can only do it for like 3 days, and then I just want to like leave and then never see them again. I can't imagine doing that with 12 guys. Do you guys ever have like moments where you're just like, can we kick them off? Like, can we just leave them
Kick
here?
them on a tour, Doug.
Yeah. Like just leave them. Cause like, I can't mentally imagine having 12 different personalities intermesh,
we all seem to get along really well, and it's kind of nice too because we change groupings every round, so you're not with the same people every round, so you kind of get a little bit of everybody, which helps.
Just 3 days, dude.
We actually want that. We're like, how can we make sure that we all get to play in those groups together at some point?
Right.
We've been lucky with that so far, like 6 or 8 male personalities all in the same place, and it's been great to this point. 12 would be different, who knows?
Time will tell, right?
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, we have our moments where we want to kill each other. It happens.
It's golf too. It's a competitive, like you said. Yeah, you're getting pissed off,
right?
Well,
exactly.
In the argument about scoring,
yeah.
Scoreboard.
To the point where, so at the beginning of the conversation, I said, guys, it all adds up to the same thing at the end. And one point I was like, no, you're not looking at it the right way. You got to look at it this way. And that went on for 20 minutes to the point where I literally just walked out of the condo, got in my car, and drove to Pinehurst Brewery where we were having dinner. I was like, I'll see you guys there. I'll get a table for 8. I'll be sitting on the patio drinking a beer when you guys get here. They showed up like 20 minutes later. I was like, all right, we're good. I needed to get out of there for a second. But yeah, so we have our moments where, you can step away. But it's all good fun at the end.
Last question before we kind of like bounce to another topic, but how far are, like you said, the 7 courses, are they all like in a pretty close radius from one another?
I would say so.
Yeah. So it's not like a 2 or 3 hour hike to a different course. Like if like for a different day or something like that, they're all like relatively close.
It's typically, I'd say on the low end, like 5 to 7 minutes.
Oh, wow. Okay. So it's,
and then on the high end, 25 minutes.
Those courses down there are packed in pretty tight.
Yeah.
So what you could do then for the loser, you could just make him walk back home to the with his bag of golf clubs.
Yeah.
Shame walk.
You don't need a saddle at that point.
Yeah.
The worst drive is actually Tobacco Road, which is like 45 minutes or away from where we typically stay. And I don't know, have you guys been to the Pinehurst area?
No, I have not. No, it looks. I'd love to get out there, but no, I haven't been out in that direction.
If you do, maybe you guys talked about this when y'all were on the first time. But if you ever get a chance, you ever make the trip, Tobacco Road is. I mean, it lives up to the hype. It's definitely something you need to check off your list.
Yeah, and you're talking the golf course itself, the Tobacco Road golf course, correct? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do they have a couple different courses on that property, right? Or is it just that one golf course?
Just the one.
It is, yeah. Okay, because I follow them on Instagram and it looks like it's in like pristine condition.
It's beautiful too. Unlike any other course you'll ever play.
Really?
I'm looking at a picture of like the bunker with the stairs. I'm in that bunker every time. I can almost promise you. There's one bunker.
I've actually seen Dom actually draw his name. He claimed his bunker.
There's a bunker at a course up here that I played last year, and it's straight up like a vertical wall. And I'm like, as long as I don't hit my ball there,
that's where it's going.
I'll be golden. Right where it went, smack dab into the wall. It's one of those things where if there's a bunker, I'm in the bunker.
Brandon, you're the 4 handicap. What's your trick for what's your secret for hitting it out of a bunker?
Well,
don't hit the bunker.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot like that, but
I mean, I don't want to oversimplify it, but because I occasionally run into my trouble out of bunkers, but open the face, swing left, feel like you're like smacking the bounce flat on the sand. And I don't know, I just feel like the mentality of trying to pitch sand in that direction rather than actually focusing on where the ball's going, you get that nice thud and it just kind of makes its way out. But
I've never thought of it like that. I just always try to hit behind the ball and just pray.
Yeah, it's the momentum of the sand that pushes it out. So
yeah, I always found like this, the green side bunkers are always the hardest for me. Like if I'm like 100 to like 120 out, it's not nearly as difficult for the most part. But those green side bunkers, and it all depends too, like on what's on the other side of the green, especially if there's water, because then you just, you don't want to like, blade it 100 yards into the water, so there's that's, I think just more of like it's a lot of it is practice, but I think a lot of it's mental too. I mean, there's so many like amateur golfers that like hate bunkers, but I mean, you'll notice on some like the on PGA Tour, like how like some of those guys actually place it like in the sand if they don't have you know what I mean? Where they're like, they can get more spin on the ball rather than hitting it on the rough because they can actually place it wherever they want. So it's like, where me, I'm like, dude, no way. I'm not putting it nowhere near that bunker.
Mm-hmm.
A
lot of, go ahead, Greg.
Sorry. Yeah. There's some holes at Augusta where the commentators are like, well, you'll see a lot of people bail out in this bunker here. That's a safe miss for them. I've never thought that in my life.
That's exactly
what I thought. Oh yeah, just bail out into that bunker and I'm safe. Easy par from there. No, never once.
That's a perfect example because I've heard that too. I'm thinking like, I'll put me on like the fringe. I'm good, but if I'm in that bunker, that's an easy 8.
Yep, exactly.
Snowman,
I don't know. Sometimes being in like the middle of the fairway freaks me out. Just like
in a bunker?
No, just being like in the fairway. Sometimes depending where, like the distance wise, I'm like, I'm just scared because it's like you did it so well to that point, and now it's gonna just turn into a shit show.
There's that cliche of like you finally hit a really good drive and then you chunk that second shot.
Yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's why my theory is I just don't hit good drives. That way I can just scramble every hole.
Hey, that sounds familiar. That sounds just like me.
Hey.
No, I just want to get a couple more topics. We wanted to just cover the Genesis Invitational. So we normally do a winner who we want to win and a sleeper pick. Matt, why don't you start us off? Who you got for the Genesis Invitational?
Gemma Fitz.
The who I think will win. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. You can give us all three.
I'll give you all three.
Yeah.
All right. So who I think will win is Patrick Cantlay. I think he was plus 1,200. He is. We were talking about that earlier. He's always in contention. He was top 10 the last 4 events I think he's played in. So you can't really go wrong with saying Patrick Cantlay is going to win because he's always right up there. And then who I would like to win was that Sahith Theegala that was in contention in that last tournament. Just to see him finish one out, I think would be awesome. He was so close in such a big tournament with lots of big names. So
I think he's going to be a big fan favorite, to be honest. I think he gained so many fans, I think, watching him play.
Right. So seeing him finish one out, I think would be awesome. And then my sleeper was Ricky Fowler. I'd like to see him win too. He's got some pretty big odds right now. He obviously is a big name. Hasn't done a whole lot lately, and I'd like to see him come back. So that's my sleeper pick.
I appreciate you picking him because he's literally probably on 100% of our episodes.
I've listened to a lot of them. I've heard you guys mention that,
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, we got to pull for Ricky. We got to get him in the winner's circle for sure.
For sure.
Brandon, who do you got?
So just looking at the type of course that Riviera is, it's probably top 15 as far as the length of the setup. And if you drive it long and accurately, you're probably going to be rewarded. So I like Rory. I know I don't think he's quite trending right now towards winning, but kind of hard to go against him when you know he can also scrap it around, and
he's got the distance for sure. Yeah.
But if he gets hot off the tee, that's a good one. As far as someone I would really just like to see win, this is a super outside chance, but he did make some noise recently. Bo Hostler.
Oh yeah.
I'm a Bo Hostler fan. I like his swing. It's just kind of a long, loose, like classic sort of swing, kind of like a Nicklaus sort of swing. But I remember watching him back in 2012 at Olympic when he had the lead in the U.S. Open. He was like 17. And I've been pulling for him ever since. So he's struggled a lot. Like, I think he lost his card or something and had to work his way back. So I'd like to see him have some success.
I like that. I like that pick.
Yeah, and you wanted a top 10 pick, right?
Just like a sleeper.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, you think just like a sleeper.
Like mine's a super sleeper.
He's actually sleeping.
I'm gonna change my pick.
Sorry, Brandon. I messed you up there. I told you top 10 and then switched it on you.
It's okay. We would all laugh if I said who I have written down. Definitely not Johnson as a sleeper. Alex Noren.
Alex Noren?
Yeah.
Okay. I like that too.
I'm an Alex Noren fan too. I kind of like his ball striking, and I think he was up near the top recently. Maybe.
Yeah, he will. Yeah, I think you're right.
So, we'll go with Alex Noren.
I like solid pick so far. Greg, who you got?
All right. So my pick to win, I've got Brooks Koepka. Like Brandon was saying, it's bomber's paradise out there at Riv. He's I have no idea what he ranks in terms of driving distance, but he's usually pretty accurate. And plus, with the recent Saudi news, I wouldn't be surprised if he pulls off a win and then takes the opportunity to say, "Oh yeah, and my tournaments have a cut." So
I like
just
that.
A little
there you go.
At Bryson. So
clever.
Right. So I wouldn't be surprised if he wins this week. Who I want to win, what I want is for Tiger Woods to walk out there like Willy Wonka and the cane just sticks. He falls, does a somersault, and wins his own damn tournament. That's what I want to happen. But realistic one is Ricky Fowler. I want him to win at some point this year. So I'm just going to say that for every tournament.
No, same. I don't know.
My dark horse, I've got Cam Champ. He's actually leading the league, the tour in driving distance so far this year. Bomber's Paradise, and he's plus 20,000 odds to win right now. So
it's a good sleeper pick.
Pretty down there, yeah.
Because yours is more of a sleeper pick than mine is. So I guess I'll go. My favorite twin is Cameron Smith. I don't know why, but he was 4th in 21. He's at plus 2,500 odds right now.
I like Cam Smith. He's a super talented guy.
He's a stud. I mean, if you can rock weird clothing like he does, have the great hair, great attitude, you're going to go places on tour. My favorite to win is Spieth. I think Jordan Spieth has to win pretty soon. He's got to get the momentum going, and we all know what he's capable of. I mean, tied for 15th last year. I think he's super talented still. I mean, he's got all the talent in the world. He just has to put it together and putt. Kind of like me. And then my sleeper is Kevin Na. I love Kevin Na. Mr. Smiles is what I call him. Right now he's 6,600, tied for 38th last year. I don't know. Something about Kevin Na. I was looking through the odds.
Just the way he walks in putts, man.
He's so confident in everything, and he has such a good attitude, and he just has so much fun. I think going, when you play tournaments and stuff like that for the PGA, if you can have fun, you tend to do a little bit better. So those 3 guys for me have a lot of fun, and I think Spieth should just win. I think I'd love to see Cameron Smith really win one though, versus just shoot 20 some under and just have people brush it off. Mm-hmm. I mean, the guy's talented.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And has penguins on his shirt. Like, what's not to love?
What was that when he went off?
What was that? I'm sorry.
What tournament was that when he was like 27 under?
I don't remember.
Are you talking about the beginning of the season here with then John Rahm was right? That was it the Sony? I think it was Sony. Yeah, it was Sony. Yeah.
Yeah. People kind of brushed it off, and it's like, oh, everybody does really well. You still have to shoot 27 under. Like, I can't even shoot 1 under. I can't even shoot even. Like, give the man some respect.
Put some respect on.
Yeah.
I'm going with a back-to-back. I'm going with Scotty Scheffler.
Ooh. Okay.
So it's interesting pick. I know he's not the longest hitter out there, but he just, again, we kind of talked about how Cantley, he's just kind of always in the mix. So I feel like if he can stay in the short grass, that's my pick. Who I'd want to win is Rory, because he does have that driver distance. If he can put together his putting and just stay in the short grass too. I think there's so many other up and coming guys that Rory, Ricky, they're still in the mix, but there's so many other names that are finishing at top of them. And I know Rory has the talent to be that top 5, top 10. He's probably, I don't even know where he's at right now for the world, but I mean, he's capable to be the top in the world if he can figure out his game. He's got everything he needs. So that was my want to win. And then my sleeper, I don't know how much of a sleeper it is, but I took Saith is Thigala. That's my guy for my sleeper pick. So hopefully one of our guys wins. I don't know if you guys do DraftKings, but I'm taking all your guys' picks and putting them all in one basket here.
Rory is 5th in the world.
5th? Okay, yeah. 5th. So he is 5th. Okay, yeah. So we'll see. The other guy that I was really kind of was Victor.
Cantley's 3rd.
Yeah, Victor.
What?
He's a stud too.
He's 4th.
Victor's ranked 4th, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and Colin. See, that Colin is so good, but I don't know if this course really just sets. It's a long course, and he doesn't hit the ball very well. I don't say very well, but he's not a long ball hitter by any means.
No, he's more accurate.
But he can. His second shots are insane. So we'll see. I'd like to see Colin win too, but I don't know if it really sets up in his.
I just want them all to have fun.
Last quick topic before we head out. So I kind of posted on Instagram last night, but the Saudi Super League, I know there's a lot of rumors flying around, but there was a golfer. It's a PGA pro. I've never actually personally heard of him before.
Yeah, when you told me, I had no idea.
His name is Kramer Hickok. Have you ever heard of him?
I read the same thing, I think.
Okay. Yeah. So it sounded like he was kind of talking on a podcast. And I know, again, there's a lot of speculation, but I don't know if it's just a lot of hush hush, but he essentially was claiming that there's been 16 or 17 PGA pros that have already switched over to the Super League. And that so one thing I didn't really realize is that there's apparently going to be 12 to 14 events, and most of them are actually going to be held in the States. So according to him, is actually like they said that like they think like 10 to 12 of the events are actually going to be held here in the United States.
See, Brandon's facial reaction was exactly my reaction to this.
But
if you have a Saudi Super League, why are you doing it here? I think this whole thing's kind of foo-foo, just because we keep seeing the number for Bryson, right? One article said it was 240 million. One article says it's 130 million. Yeah. Like that's a big change, right? And now we're hearing this and that, and they're going to be allowed to play in PGA majors. Like, it doesn't make sense. You know, it's like the XFL and the AFL and stuff like that. Like, it's fun in theory, but have those worked out? No. The XFL was closed on twice. The AFL was like half a season.
Yeah, I think like the biggest thing is like, what's the future? Like, if the PGA is banning these players, like that's kind of a red flag for a lot of these players to even consider joining. One of my takes was that it might open the door though for a lot of these Corn Ferry players that they're literally scrambling, that really don't make a whole lot of money. They're trying to get their PGA card. So, I mean, if you're thinking 17 to guys are already leaving for these events, it might open the door for some other talent that, you know, maybe might not have had the opportunity. So it could actually work out for both parties. I guess for me, it just kind of sounds like they have a lot of money, but at the same time, is this a lot of money is this like a one-hit wonder type of deal, or is this something that's going to continue to grow and put the PGA Tour at a very competitive head-to-head type of, you know, maybe it's like a WWF, WW or WCW, where eventually they merge or something like that. That's
wrestling, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not into wrestling.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm not either, actually. But that was the only thing I could think of that actually like didn't really fall apart, that kind of tried to do something different, you know, that. So what's your guys' take on the Super League? I don't even know, like I can't even find a website for it. I just find articles about it, but I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, it's hard to have much of a thought on it right now until we start hearing some more stuff about it. But I know that sounds like some guys are at least entertaining the idea.
Well, $240 million would certainly entertain me. You put my face on it for $100K. Yeah, I'm dropping everything. I'm going. But yeah, $240 million. Yeah.
Tough, right? Because you offer, or you say that, you know, you can still play the majors. And, you know, some say like, okay, you know, maybe if you ban them from playing the majors, if you do jump ship, then that will incentivize people to stay. But then if people do leave, the product of the majors is going to be impacted, because, you know, who's going to watch with as much interest if you don't have, you know, a Brooks Koepka or Bryson DeChambeau or, you know, on down the list, some of these guys that have owned the majors, or, you know, they're always in contention and then they're just gone. Mm-hmm. It kind of lessens the value of winning a major. I was going to say I'm all for the competition of another tour, because I feel like we have a tendency to be sort of narcissistic in a way of like, oh, the PGA Tour is the only thing that matters and it's in the States. Why can't there be something elsewhere that competes on the same level? Because I feel like we ignore the European Tour a little bit.
Oh, 100%. I agree too.
Like it's there.
Yep. But that's the only thing really that we think about European Tour is, well, not even the European Tour, is the Open with a lot of the Europeans. But other than that, yeah, it's really.
Or the Ryder Cup.
Right. Yeah. The Ryder Cup. But other than that, like you said, it's kind of we don't really think about it too often.
A lot of those players gain more recognition when they come here and start playing. But my viewpoint changes when I hear that they would hold their events in the States. That
to me, that seems really weird. Like, why would you have quote unquote Saudi Super League and then be like, yeah, we're playing in California. Like, to me, that doesn't make sense. Like,
that's what he had said on that. Again, that might not even be true. I'm just speculating based on what he said, but
and like, what's to say like the bottom 17 players don't leave? So, like, it wouldn't really affect majors at the end of the day. But I do understand, if Brooks leaves, or it sounds like fans want Bryson and Phil gone anyways, which is kind of funny to me. But what's to say that it's not some random 17 guys who you and I don't ever hear about Sundays or even Saturday.
Yeah. And it's all Phil made the comment of like it being based on the greed of the PGA Tour, yet you hear reports of $130 million being offered to Bryson. And it's like, okay, if you jump ship because of greed, but you accept an offer like that, what does that say?
Mm-hmm.
It's just exchanging greed for greed, kind of. I don't know.
Yeah, and again, like I like Greg, you said with the Brooks comment about we made we have cuts here, like as a player that maybe again doesn't really finish. I'm assuming they're kind of like bigger name golfers, but again, the pure speculation from his on the podcast. But like some of these players are guaranteed this money, and they're having an opportunity that they're making more money, and they don't have to have that fear of missing a cut. Or if they're playing, maybe they play 3 out of the 3 really good rounds and have a crap 4th round or something like that, they're still going to get paid plus make money on the tournament. So there are benefits, I think, but I agree with you, Brandon, too, because it's like, are they trying to be a Saudi Super League in somewhere else, or are they really just trying to compete with the PGA Tour and be here in the States? And that's because if that's the case, I'm not really sure how that's going to work.
And the more I think about it, the more it just doesn't make sense, right? Because there's all these television deals, and like, is CBS going to air the PGA Tour or some Saudi Super League? They're going to air the PGA Tour, so I believe like ESPN to pick it up, which I get that would do stuff for ESPN and make golf readily available, but ESPN's also putting the PGA on.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be interesting that they're going to do it to like live stream it somehow, like Instagram or YouTube or something. But the more you think about it, the more it just doesn't quite make sense.
What's your take on it, Greg?
Yeah, I mean, so obviously it makes all the money sense in the world. Not many people are going to pass down 135, 240 million. Rory had some interesting comments about, he said something along the lines of like, listen, I've got way more money than I did a decade ago. My life hasn't really changed that much. I'm still in the same 3 or 4 rooms in my house. Like, yeah, you're going to have those millions. Like once you're a certain level of rich, then that there's a, kind of a ceiling of how much your life changes after however many millions, I don't know. The whole like not having a cut thing, and also like, so Bryson sounds like he might go. I don't know. Some reports say he's already gone. Some reports said it's still just speculation. But every other golfer in the top 10 other than, so I think Cam Smith said that he might leave the door open. He said, I don't know, or something like that. Every other golfer in the top 10 has said, no, like I'm not going anywhere. So if you've got Bryson DeChambeau, Phil Mickelson, Charlie Hoffman, and some other random dudes, maybe Cam Smith, with no cut, and you're, I don't know, taking some sort of pride in winning that tournament, congrats. You beat 2 or 3 actually good golfers, and you didn't even have to really compete. I don't know. As a competitor,
takes that out of it for sure.
Yeah. As a competitor, there's no way I would stay on the PGA Tour, and I'd grind to make cuts if I had to, but that's, I'm competing against the best week in and week out. I don't think right now the Saudi Super League doesn't have that at all. They've got 2 or 3 good guys.
I think what'll be interesting is, kind of like if 17 golfers do leave and one of them is Bryson or Phil or whatever. To me, Phil doesn't have to prove anything because he's Phil Mickelson. If he wants to leave, he can leave. Great. It's Phil. At the end of the day, he's still Phil Mickelson. He has all the accolades in the world. It makes me wonder though, Bryson leaves, this thing goes defunct, and then he has to come back to the PGA. Like, what are his peers going to say? Because I mean, it's already bad enough that people are calling him Brooksy and, you know, all these little ribbings or whatever. But to me, it's kind of like when people go on strike and people cross that line and then all of a sudden you're the bad guy. You know, what are the other PGA players going to say when Bryson comes back? You know,
Brooks isn't going to let him back.
You know, but you can't just say, I told you so. You know, there has to be something that's like, well, why'd you do that? You know, do you not believe in this? And the whole thing just sounds messy.
Yeah. Only time will tell. I'll be kind of interested to see what comes up because I think kind of the last part of the article is he said that they were talking about that they're trying to launch by this summer or beginning of the spring. So I think we'll find out more information on it.
You just think that they'd have some kind of social media for it.
Yeah, it's kind of everything's kind of like in the dark.
Colin Morikawa said, "What are they waiting for?" You know, because at this point, why don't you have anything? You know, no website, no social media.
Yeah, it's interesting.
And Colin came out and said, like, "Nah, I'm good. PGA Tours for me, right?" Well, Adam Scott was the name that said he was interested, which was a little.
Yeah, that's
it helps that Colin's the number 2 in the world, though. But
yeah,
you know, number 2 versus all of a sudden, you know, you're number 100 in the world. All of a sudden, that becomes a lot more appealing. But like Greg was saying, like, yeah, then the competition's not there. You don't feel like you really won anything. You know, it'd be like me beating my buddy who's ever played golf before. It's like, very cool, Don. You know, congrats. But at the same time, it's like, do I feel good about it? No. Like, you're kind of expected to.
Feel good about the bank account. Well,
it's
but it's not all about the money. Like you said, a lot of these guys are like, when you get to that certain like tier of golfers, like they're really playing for the majors. You know what I mean? They're not really playing for the money. I forget which article it was, but they're saying like, if you're like above like the top 120 golfers in the world, like you're financially, maybe it's top 100. I could be wrong, but it's like anything below that, you're literally grinding to try to like, you know, you got to pay for hotels, you got to pay for everything. Like you're grinding literally. So it could be beneficial for some of those guys. But when you get to that level, like you said, Brooks is playing for most majors. I mean, Jack's record, you know what I mean? There's so much history in the PGA that I don't think when you're up that top tier, like you're trying to, you know, try to basically write history. That's my take. But
yeah, for sure.
No, we really appreciate it. Like I said, there's a lot going on in the golf world right now. I know you guys are in the you know, we're in Minnesota, so it's super cold, so we don't really have any golf going on, so to speak, besides the indoor golfing.
Like the worst part is I keep buying clubs. I just have to look at them. Like did I need?
You just got the new Cobras.
Yeah. Did I need the new irons? No, but do I have to look at them for another 4 months? Yeah.
So we have the simulators though. Not the same thing, but at least you can hit them.
Nice.
You have Top Golfs?
Yeah, we have
one.
Yeah, we have one. It's probably like 15 minutes from us here in Minneapolis. It's in a pretty nice location. Easy. How about you guys?
Yeah, we have one pretty close to us, about 20 or I don't know, 15 minutes away from me and maybe 30 minutes away from these guys. So
we've been I've been doing the as far as like the going to the 3 Jack, it's a restaurant not too far from us, but they have simulators there and I love it. It's super nice. I'm not like, again, the distance is obviously going to be a little bit, you know, can be fluctuated, however, but it's still nice to get swings in and you don't have to worry about the nice thing with that. It's indoor. So there's no weather factor, but Top Golf's awesome because you can only see it. But when we're at negative 15 degrees out,
it's not that today.
No, it's like 30. It's 30 today, but
no, we had almost 60 degrees today down.
Did you really?
Yeah.
We had a stretch though.
High 50s.
We had a high of 28 and right now it's 18, but it feels like 6.
Yeah. So, but like the week before that, yeah, we were like in the negatives. It was bad.
This is why the Vikings should have built an outdoor stadium. Do you imagine the competitive advantage they would have had?
Well, it's
at least
funny.
They're retractable.
So I'm also a big like Niners guy. So everyone's like, oh, you can't go into Green Bay. It's so cold and they're from California. And I don't really think there's a competitive advantage because they went in there and just beat Green Bay.
I was surprised.
I wasn't. I had faith.
I know. So predictions for next year. I know you guys made it to the Super Bowl. I'm talking mainly for Greg. I know you. I honestly we were rooting for the Bengals, and I thought once OBJ went down, I thought the momentum started shifting slightly. I really did think that they were going to actually. I'm like, oh, this is their chance.
Did you cry?
I was very close. I did not cry.
I would have. If the Vikings would have been in that same, I would have cried for sure. I don't know.
The more footage comes out and seeing Jamar Chase wide open on the 4th and 1 and, going downfield and stuff like that, I think that hurts. And like if Burrow had like a second, there's another shot, but I can't even imagine being like a big fan and being like, okay. Cause I kept telling my buddies, they're like, oh, if he's hurt, don't play him. I'm like, you may never come back. You may never go back.
It's tough to make it to a Super Bowl.
The fact that he had a sprained MCL, got up, slang it some more. Like that's a big testament to what he is as a player and who he is as a man.
Yeah, he's a tough dude. He has to be with our O line. But
feels like the Vikings.
When he went down, I don't know. I thought it was over then, and then he came back out, and then after the game, because they were like, oh yeah, he refused medical attention. Then you hear he was like screaming at people to get away from him, like don't even check it. There's no way I'm not going back in, so don't even check it.
Yep.
Just a tough dude. Obviously, it's the Super Bowl. What are you gonna do? But yeah, I don't know. Our starting right tackle for the Super Bowl was Isaiah Prince, and I didn't think he should have started for Ohio State when he was with us.
Yeah, he struggled at Ohio State, so seeing him starting in the NFL shocked me.
There were some weird personnel calls because on 4th and 1, you had P. Ryan and not Mixon, which to me was like, why wouldn't you put Mixon? Like, I get it, that's the normal rotation. I get it. And I get it. The head coach is also super young, but now he's been extended 5 years. So congrats. That's not sarcasm. Like, I think you got a dog as a head coach. He's young and talented. I feel like it was a good learning experience overall for the Bengals. I'd like to see him back. I'd like to, but yeah, there's some weird personnel decisions. Like, why wouldn't you put arguably your best player who isn't Jamar Chase or Burrow? Why wouldn't you put out your starting running back? I don't know.
Just putting an early prediction.
It just seemed like a throwaway play. Like, 3rd and 1, like we'll just pick it up real fast and then we'll continue. And Aaron Donald said no.
The way he pulled back P. Ryan, I was like, that's game. Like at that play, it was
arm tackle too.
He's a giant human being.
Did
you see him at the parade today? Guys,
dude, he's like
the Hulk.
He's like a bowling ball with muscles.
He's insane.
He was just flexing up there. I saw that.
Oh yeah. I'm like, dude, that guy's chiseled.
I heard something about a video on YouTube of him training like his work with his hands, where he has someone with knives and he they like color them. What do they do?
So they're not real knives, but like if they hit them somewhere, like leaves a red mark. It's like a lipstick type thing. And to like work on his hands so he's not grabbing people. Yeah. Dude's an animal.
Gosh.
We were saying before, it was like the Rams were literally set up to win a Super Bowl. And if they didn't win it, it would have been a failure, and that's really what it came down to. And the Bengals were just that team that kind of caught fire. I'm not saying that they weren't good. They were definitely really good. Their defense was good enough to just, keep everyone, they keep them in the game.
They held the Rams to 23 points.
Yeah, they held the under. It was at 48.5, I think. But I just, like I said, I thought after OBJ went down, because it looked like the Rams had the momentum for sure earlier. And then that big catch with Jamar Chase in the beginning, went down, kicked the field goal, and then he went down, and I was like, okay, this is it. But next year it's going to be 23-17. Vikings are going to win.
Don't put it out there.
Over the Bengals.
Don't put it out
over the Bengals. Over the Bengals, man. We'd have some civil war in this group if that happened. Gosh, next year's Super Bowl, I don't know, man. This is going to be a crazy quarterback carousel.
Yep.
and it's just so hard to get to the Super Bowl, man. Like I would love to say, yeah, absolutely, Bengals are 100% going to be back in the Super Bowl next year. I'm glad we gave Zach Taylor that 5-year extension. So he was an assistant wide receiver coach under Sean McVay or something like that. Got promoted to quarterback coach, I think, before he got our job. But I mean, hey, I will say our coach under the Sean McVay tree working out just fine. So
Absolutely.
that's good news for your Vikings. Hopefully your guys' McVay guy works out as well as our McVay guy.
I will say your fans did that was pretty awesome too when they got off the plane. They gave him huge. I mean, you guys made it to the Super Bowls regardless. It sucks the loss, but they had a pretty cool. He had a pretty cool homecoming, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so at my party, I popped champagne after the game, poured it out for everyone. I was like, "Hey guys, still a good year. Let's celebrate like we got to the damn Super Bowl." Definitely didn't think this was going to happen before the year. I was thinking 7 wins, 8 wins. That would be awesome. But yeah, I don't know. Now expectations are a little bit higher. We'll probably go 11-6 next year again, and just kind of see what we can do in the playoffs. I have no idea where Aaron Rodgers is going to be next year. I mean, he might be with the 49ers. So
God, I hope
Russ, he might be gone. He might stay too, but Russ, I mean, there's a lot of Kyler Murray's now talking about trying to leave or not. Well, he's unhappy, I should say. There's a lot going on. Brandon, what do you think the Vikings are pegged for next year? It's hard to say, obviously. We got a whole new system, but do you think Kirk's going to be here for one more year?
I think, oh gosh, I feel so passionately about this.
Oh no.
Because I've heard that they think he'll be gone.
So the rumor is they're going to take what's left of his contract and add another like 2 years onto it. So they would take the $45 million cap hit and basically turn that into like $15 million for 3 years, which I'd be okay with. Just because there's no quarterback this year in the draft.
For the draft.
Yeah. Zimmer hated, so he didn't do shit with. Shocker. Zimmer, old grouchy man.
He also ignored Wyatt Davis.
What's that?
He also ignored Wyatt Davis.
Yeah. I mean, Zimmer.
Darisaw didn't get on the field until like week 6 or 7.
Yep. Yeah. So yeah. Where do you? I mean, I think they're heading in the right direction. It was definitely needed to be done, but where do you peg them for next year?
Well, it does hinge on the Kirk thing. I don't think you can build. I think they have too many holes, and I don't think he's going to agree to taking that sort of pay cut.
It's not a pay cut. They convert it to a signing bonus.
Oh, okay.
So they take money, they convert it to a signing bonus, but they add. It's complicated, but when I read about it, I was like, okay, it makes sense because he still gets that money, but that money is no longer a cap hit, so it would give us a ton of money to go spend. That's why I'm for it because that fills all the holes we need.
He does. I know he does want to be a Viking. I like the guy. I'm sure he's a really nice dude. I don't see visibly that he is passionate about winning a Super Bowl. I don't see that the offense or really anybody on the team feeds off of his energy.
You could definitely tell towards the end of the year, Jefferson was sick of Kirk Cousins.
And he's like politically correct enough to be like, Kirk's my guy. I like him.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like when players talk about other players that they love, they're like, I'd do anything for him. Keep him here. I want him to be on this team as long as I'm here. But JJ doesn't double down on that. He's not like Kirk's, he's going to lead us.
The guy.
But I'm kind of hoping that they commit to taking a step back, to take a step forward in the future. And I think either way, we're probably headed for a 7-10, 8-9 sort of season.
Kind of like you said, invest for the future, kind of take a hit this next year.
Yeah. I think if you ride the Kirk train again, I think you end up short of what you are expecting for a 5th year in a row.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, my only real issue is like there's no quarterbacks in this draft that's worth drafting. You know what I mean? Like we don't have any backups because our backup is Sean Mannion because Zimmer loves Mannion.
Zimmer not here though.
I don't care. Zimmer loved Mannion enough to cut him and then re-sign him. Like, dude. Or no, he didn't cut him. Mannion left.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Hey, money," and Mannion's like, "Sure." We all saw how that ended.
Yeah.
To me, it's not really another option because if we do go, bring in a new head coach, bring in a new offensive coordinator, and we do like 4-12 or something, the Minneapolis might burn. Like fans are gonna riot. We're all gonna join the Bengals, and
we're all Bengals fans now.
Come on in.
Yeah. Only time will tell. We'll definitely so it'll be regardless of like which team you're a fan of. I mean, there's so many interesting quarterback moves, potential quarterback moves, I guess I should say.
If we rewind a little bit. So if we do get rid of Kirk, who do we get?
So, I mean, I think you've got bridge quarterbacks out there, not to bridge with a rookie that you like.
Bridgewater.
You could bring Teddy back.
I'm all for it. Hey, dude, I got a Teddy jersey.
Well, I had to retire a jersey I knew I wasn't going to wear, and I'm not.
Oh, no, I still wear it. Teddy's my guy.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you could still wear it, and people love Teddy still. But, I mean, I've seen things about Marcus Mariota. He's someone that you could sign for cheap if you can unload the Kirk contract. That's, what, $10 million in dead cap, so you're saving possibly the difference, the $35 million. But, there are guys out there that I think that are serviceable. I'm not a big Jimmy G fan, but what are they going to do? Are they going to sign someone that they like? If Aaron Rodgers goes to San Francisco, what would you be able to offer them to pry Trey Lance from them?
Sure.
I don't know. Maybe they hang up the phone on you. I don't know, but
from what it sounds like, they would trade everybody, but like Kittle, some O-line pieces, Bosa, obviously. And then, they probably wouldn't trade Lance just for what they had to trade to get Trey Lance because they had to get rid of a lot to trade up in the draft.
Yeah.
Sounds like they're going to trade Jimmy G. And Jimmy G already said his goodbyes in a press conference. And the players are all sad. It's kind of like how you're saying there's not any players on the Vikings that are like, yes, Kirk's my guy. Sounds like all the Niners loved having Garoppolo there, which was super cool. I love Jimmy G.
Yeah.
I think you get like a third and you get Jimmy G type of thing. But then the issue is you got him and Kirk, and I don't think they're going to trade for Kirk because why would you do that when you're ready for Trey Lance?
Yeah.
The whole thing's a mess. I don't think they'd get Rodgers either just because he's not going to teach Trey Lance anything because he didn't teach anybody anything in Green Bay other than how to lose.
Matt, did you realize you were on the NFL podcast?
Yeah, right. I'm not real big into NFL. I love football, but I definitely don't have a favorite team. So I'm enjoying listening to you guys.
Matt's like, I did not sign up. Did I just make it to the wrong podcast?
Every once in a while, we have one of these.
Yeah, we just get off track.
It's all good, man. I love listening to it either way. So
no, we appreciate you hopping on. I know we kind of probably went a little longer than anticipated, but definitely gonna have to have a third episode down the road, talk more sports. Maybe we can have you guys on after the
Viking Super Bowl,
that too, but I was thinking more or less after your guys' your trip,
after the trip. For sure,
recap the trip.
We'll have to find a long weekend here and maybe see you guys come on up to Ohio, get a couple rounds in, get Dom some Skyline chili so he can stop hating on it. And
I know, right? I definitely, that kind of sounds good, to be honest. I'm a picky eater.
Did you see Uzama was like, hey, if we went, I'll bathe in it. And I was like,
good for the pores, man.
Gross. Like, I'm not a big spaghetti guy, but I love chili. And so for me, when you put it on spaghetti, it kind of ruins it. But I have heard that it is really good. But I'm also from Minnesota, so we don't have that here. We eat like weird stuff like lutefisk.
No, we don't. I mean, we do, but we don't.
We do, but I don't. But yeah.
Nope.
Skyline's a staple in this household.
What's that?
Oh yeah,
Skyline is a staple.
Yeah,
in this house.
we definitely got to make a trip down there and play some golf and grab some brews.
For sure, be a good time.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for taking the time. Appreciate it, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good night.
Guys.
Yep. Take care.
Bye.
See it.